yeah, it's a tight program for today. We have 25.11 out, of course. It's November, and we have John Bedford from Oracle here to talk about the statement of direction, which is also brand new. And we have László from endoIT in Hungary to, well, show us some cool stuff later on. So as is the typical flow we get with the 25.11 update. And 25.10, of course, that was covered in the last recorded. There was a pre-recorded virtual Siebel Friday, if you haven't watched that. So I won't go into details on that, conscious of time. And before we start, of course, a word from our sponsor, siebelhub.com. And we have a new course coming soon, so stay tuned and watch out for the AI for Siebel Professionals course. That's a super interesting course, of course, with how can you use AI efficiently as a Siebel professional? So not saying more than that. And back to 25.11, back to Siebel Cloud Manager. That is a, well, can you say niche product, as not many people are using it. Not many customers are live with Siebel Cloud Manager. That's the beast that takes an existing Siebel or a new Siebel greenfield, puts it on Kubernetes, translates your enterprise configuration to YAML, puts that in GitLab, so it's GitOps. And that has a standalone installer, which you can use to install the Siebel Cloud Manager infrastructure everywhere on every orchestration environment, including OpenShift. And with 25.11, it has changed a bit. One is that, surprise, WebTools has all the languages in that package, which is basically you can now install the language packs, and that makes WebTools non-ENU available. And also, speaking of packages, the SCM standalone installer is now really standalone. If you have used it before, there is a mirror step in the old versions where you actually connect to the Oracle container registry on OCI. You need an internet connection, and it downloads tons and tons of third-party container images that it needs for the observability stack, etc. And now everything is packaged with the standalone installer. So it's a big change. The installer got much bigger because of all the packages, all the images already there, everything you need. So you can install it really without internet connection. And there's also documentation update on the OpenShift installation, because there's I've done it once, and the security context constraints, if you know what I'm talking about, that's really bitchy on OpenShift. The documentation gets you around that. So big change for Siebel Cloud Manager standalone. And also big change for customers using Siebel Marketing. Now, that is a true flashback to my days when I was teaching the marketing segmentation. Does anybody remember that? The segment designer, segment tree in Siebel Analytics or OBIE.
Oh, yes.
Yes, remember that?
Oh, yes, I do.
Yeah, and that's still a thing, but in the modern versions of Oracle Analytics, which is OAS 2024 and higher, Oracle has desupported the segmentation. So you have to use an old OBIE or older OAS version to still get the feature. And of course, that goes out of support. And Oracle has replaced now the segment type in the catalog with the evergreen analysis. You know, the standard reporting thing where you have your filters and columns. And that's practically your segment now, because it's, well, you have a filter, you have the ability to filter, to use other segments, other analysis as filters in another analysis. And so that seems to be stable enough to be used instead of segments and segment trees. A lot of screens got updated, a lot of new views to add that functionality in Siebel marketing. So now customers can finally upgrade to modern versions of OAS. So if you or your customers using Siebel marketing with the old segmentation, that's definitely something to talk about, to consider. And also there is, in the statement of direction, which John will talk about, there's a future direction that Siebel will be certified for OAC, Oracle Analytics Cloud, the cloud-based version. OAS is the on-prem version of Oracle Analytics. So that's a big change in that area. And another change that came 25.11 is more features and enhancements in the so-called telco REST API. So you might or might not be aware that Oracle publishes industry REST APIs, collections of business service and workflows, and how to call them in the REST guide. So there's a telco REST API, UCM REST API, product catalog. All kinds of APIs exist officially for Siebel. And the telco REST API gets a lot of updates in the product promotion and pricing section. So it's more or less order management related. Anybody using those specific industry APIs actively? Seems like a resounding no. It's not a large group here, but yeah, that's interesting. And we have to say bye-bye to one thing actually that happened in 2510 but it's now documented in the release notes. Anybody knows what this slide is about? The application data service and the migration rules view?
Yeah, we had to use this to migrate, what was it? Some assignment, something to do with assignment manager. I forget what it was.
Assignment rules or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a service in the migration application. And it comes in two flavors. It comes with a plain application data service, and then there's an application data service with transformation. And both these services have been removed from the migration app. They're still visible, but when you run a plan which contains them, you get an error message like you see on the screenshot. And there's also a view where you define the tables and the conditions, the filter conditions, the where clauses, what to export. And that results in an IMP file, a datamig.imp. And that's a very famous file because the repository upgrade also produces that file. When you run it on the development environment, it tells the migration app which records to export from the repository upgrade and import into the target test or production environment because the repo upgrade doesn't run on the RR. And that's not deprecated. So the whole service and the views. So that happens. The alternative, well, that's up to Oracle to tell us. Honestly, the alternative seems to be Application Deployment Manager, ADM, which is integrated with the migration app, but we'll see how it goes from there. All right. So yeah, that's the news on 25.11 or 25.10. And now also big news in terms of Siebel and direction. The future of Siebel is the much awaited statement of direction. We have a summary up on the Siebel Hub, if you have seen it, a blog post. Thanks to John for approving this and supporting the Siebel Hub. And of course, John is here today to tell you more about the Siebel statement of direction. John?
Hi guys, how you doing? Yeah, we published it this week. Probably was a few months late, if I'm honest. But
Okay. You want to share a screen? You want to take over?
I
Or
can do. All I was going to do is share the statement direction, but I would like to just ask people to put a reaction in the Zoom if you have read this or not. So if you've read it, stick a thumbs up, and then I'll get a gauge how new this is to people. All right.
okay,
If
get
you're
this.
coming up, Oracle people not allowed to vote on that. But no, basically, we just wanted to make sure what we were putting out there was 100% accurate of where we are right now, and it's just been changing so much with, what AI is doing. So I think that's why we've had a little delay. Ideally, in ideal world, we'd like to publish our statement of direction like in the first quarter of every calendar year. We published an update exactly a year ago for our 2004 revision, so we're kind of consistent there, but it'd be nice to sort of move to like a new calendar year revision. We'll try and get there. And of course, like, if we feel there's considerable change to our strategy, we can do an update to the statement direction anytime we want, right? It doesn't have to be just once a year. So you might find this starts to be updated a little bit more frequently than once a year. But what we tried to do in the statement direction was give everybody an idea for how we're continuing to innovate around the core foundations of the product as we know it today, but also how we are supporting, the vision for the future, which is a kind of long goal of autonomous CRM powered by AI across the whole solution stack. And if you were at our events recently, I think you'll probably captured that both in how we're improving the foundation and how we're looking to the future. And we also tried to illustrate how the innovations we're putting into the product are benefiting many different actors and personas that you often have. Yeah, and you've categorized them quite well in this
I,
post actually.
I'll
Yes,
I'll scroll a little bit through the
yeah.
blog post if okay.
Like
Yeah, while you're
we
talking.
often kind of get asked like, "Hey, what are you doing for developers?" or "How are you benefiting our users?" or um, so we tried to kind of capture that in the document as well to make it easy for you guys to also communicate to your organization and your business leaders about what's coming in Siebel. And across all of the different personas, we feel like AI is allowing us to add much more innovation for everyone. Whether it's like agents to help developers or AI in the application to help users about their day-to-day tasks, or a kind of agentic platform to help architects. We feel like we're able to deliver that in our roadmap. So what we need you guys to do is give us your feedback, of course, all the time, so we can continue to tweak the prioritization of the delivery of these features. If you guys don't give us your feedback and tell us what's urgent, we will just prioritize based on what we feel is the right priority, what we're hearing from customers and partners that we're talking to. So it's up to you guys now to help drive this even more. And if anything's missing that you feel strongly about, of course, you have to tell us. So maybe I'll pause there and just see if anyone wants to ask any questions or provide any feedback, whether it's good or bad, about what
Yeah.
we've published.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, John. There's from Nick. There's two things in the chat. Does anyone know when the Oracle Code Assist enablement tools and workflows will be
It's a video
available?
training class.
That's you're pointing to the link is to the TOI, right?
Right. And it goes up not available. But everybody got an email that says it was available.
Okay, so you're referring to the feature or the TOI itself?
The TOI,
Okay.
so I can see the feature.
Yeah, I actually it's in maybe John, do you want to say anything about that?
Is this related to Siebel, or is this just
Yeah.
a
I guess it is.
I mean, this looks like a standard Oracle Code Assist TOI related to platform services. When I click on the link, it allows me to view it. But then again, I'm probably just logged in as Oracle on the VPN, so it doesn't really mean anything. This is an OCI related course.
Okay, it's not Siebel
Oh,
related.
okay.
No, it's not Siebel, but I mean, we do plan to, try and use Oracle Code Assist with Siebel, of course. It's part of the kind of developer experience and AI tooling that we want to deliver. We've had quite a lot of problems with Oracle University. If any of you have tried to find our latest training or our certification exams, you might find it's kind of different every day at the moment. So for me to try and comment on how to find a TOI, I
It's like
literally have no idea where to start, I'm afraid. And
it's
Alex,
like herding cats over there.
oh yeah. What can I blame it on? Thanksgiving, yeah.
The tryptophan.
Okay.
I mean, it's okay. So Nick, it's available because obviously I can see it. I don't know
Well, I
why.
can get to the page, but when I do the link to the actual TOI, it blocks out.
Mm. Yeah. Okay, but it's now we know it's not Siebel related.
Yeah.
It's the
There's not
generic
a big
code assist
deal.
thing. Yeah.
I
And
mean,
also,
this is
Nick,
working. This is working for me.
okay.
So
Must be internal still.
I think the best thing to do is maybe someone else can try and access it while we're on this call, in case and identify if this is just an issue. Nick, perhaps with you, your account, your browser, whatever. If everyone else is getting the same behavior as you, then it tells me it's an Oracle University ticket.
Mm. Okay, and Nick has also another thing in the chat. The key developer feature Nick would like to see is the integration of workflow and eScript testing. So yeah, Nick, that's related to the old thing that we all miss when you
web
have.
tools, right? And I'm doing a workflow and it kicks into a business service. I can't see the code.
Yeah, you
And vice-
simulate a workflow and it doesn't jump into the code
or
debugger,
vice
right?
versa.
Or
If
vice
I'm doing
versa, yeah.
the service, I don't kick into the workflow.
Yeah, that would be really great. Yeah, so
And a lot of times if you're not in workspace, the workflows don't work. For
uh,
ones that when you're in a dev workspace, sometimes it won't, you're doing a process, it won't see it. When you do like you're in inspect, you
uh-huh.
can't, the workflows that are part of the system don't kick in. They have to be an int. You have to test for int.
Oh, yeah, you mean when you have workflows on server components running outside
Yeah.
the object manager? Yeah, of course, that has to be delivered to the workspace that they run on.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
how do you test thing when you're in dev? I don't want to promote it to int if it's not working.
Yes, yeah, I know.
It doesn't make sense.
So what you're asking for is a kind of more immersive feature in web tools where you're in your workspace, you're editing a workflow, it calls a business service, the business service has some script, and then when you do kind of your workflow simulation, if you go into that business service step, you want to kind of step through a bit like how you can
Right.
through eScript.
Right. And then
Yeah,
what
because that used to work
back to the work.
in regular tools.
Okay.
Yeah, regular tools actually jumped into the breakpoints. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it's probably one of those that's on the backlog to try and replicate similar functionality in web tools, right?
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. László has one thing. The question is, are there any plans to replace eScript engine with more modern
Yeah,
JavaScript runtime?
this came up at I think I saw Thomas on the call. This definitely came up in Frankfurt.
Yes.
So it's with in fact, all those questions that came up at Frankfurt and in Vegas and in Dubai, we've kind of cataloged those into a big list, and
Mhm.
the product management team are kind of acting on each one and responding accordingly. I think they're almost done, and as soon as they're done, I'm going to publish that document somewhere so everyone who attended the events can take a look.
I think that one is on the menu. Yeah,
it's on there. Yeah. So bear with us, and we'll have that soon.
And
We'll have a response soon. I'm not saying we'll have that feature.
Jose Luis has also some interesting for workflow testing. He uses the test workflow API. Okay, that sounds interesting.
I've seen that before. That would be interesting.
Jose, I think there's a little nudge there, maybe for you to do some kind of demonstration for everyone on the next.
Yeah, maybe we can talk about that. I honestly don't know what you mean. Test workflow API, or do you mean REST workflow API?
Maybe he's typing it.
REST. Oh, okay, REST REST workflow API. All right. Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, Jose Luis means he uses the REST workflow API. So you can call the workflow obviously through the REST API, and that makes it easier for debugging purposes as well. Yeah, I can imagine that. Yes.
Can't imagine using it that way if I'm using post.
Because you can send with the REST call, you can send the workspace name and version as parameters. Right. And I think that's what Jose is referring to as well.
Well, I can put the workflow in a dev space, but if the workflow that I'm calling from the workflow is not in it, it doesn't find it.
Yeah, if it still spawns a asynchronous workflow request that runs on workflow process manager, that you still have that problem. I think I heard about that. I heard Brian talk about that in Frankfurt, that they are planning to implement that feature that basically the let's call it the external, the non-local object manager also picks up the correct workspace when in that scenario. I think I remember Brian telling about that. Yeah.
Yeah, on the eScript stuff, I know when I use Copilot, it always tries to use the latest JavaScript, and I have to tell it, says, no, we're using Siebel eScript.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Says, and right. Let me fix that.
And Nick, that's the best segue into our next guest and next demo, because László from endoIT is here, and endoIT has done some really great job in creating a Siebel script and web template editor. Let me just find my slides. And there it is. So yeah, you might already be using it. It would be very interesting. Maybe raise your hand real quick, or put something in the chat if you're using the Siebel script and web template editor from endoIT already. It's on GitHub. It's free. Connects to Siebel through the REST API. You can download, practically pull eScript and web templates, and you push back to the repository. And yeah, László, the stage is yours for a quick demo of the new features for the new version.
Okay, so hi, I'm László from endoIT in Hungary.
You're welcome.
And this, I will share my screen. So maybe maybe you have heard about this Siebel script and web template editor Visual Studio Code extension.
There
maybe put a thumbs up if you have. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, coming in perfectly.
Okay, so I will start from the beginning if you are not already using it. Just a minute. So this extension can be installed from the Visual Studio Code extension marketplace. There is already an older version, the Siebel script and web template editor. And I will release the new 3.0.0 version after this presentation, and I present the new features now. So how does it work? After you install it, you will have this new icon in your Visual Studio Code sidebar, which will open this extension. In the extension, you will see two screens. The first one is where you can select the connection and workspace and which you want to open and get server scripts or web templates and edit them. For this, you can provide connections. I already have one set up. I will show you how it works. So just give a name, REST API URI, the username, password for basic authentication, and some other parameters. For instance, if you want to edit your scripts as TypeScript or JavaScript, how many scripts do you want to pull when you are searching for them, and two other checkbox. I will talk about them later. So this connection is already set up for a demo environment. You can test your connection with this test connection. If everything is all right, then you will get a little dialog that it's okay. So how does it work? So I select my connection, one workspace, and the type of object. We have business service, business component, applet, application, and web templates. And you just start typing the name of the desired object. And you see I received with this custom, this 3 matches the search string, and I can click on them. If you see this yellow cloud near the name of the business service, it means that it's not downloaded, just only in the Siebel. If you click on it, then you will see what scripts are available to download. For instance, let's download this pre-invoke method. And this method is downloaded, and you can edit it as a JavaScript file. And this icon changes to a check mark. It means that it's downloaded and is in synchron with Siebel. So if I start typing here, the extension will detect that it was modified. You can see it was modified. And what can you do? So there are many new features compared to the older one. There are some new buttons. So let's start. There is one compare button near the script. If you use this, you can compare it with the one in Siebel. So you can see there was some changes, and you can even revert these changes using this revert block. The another button is revert. It will download it from Siebel, so it's overwrite on your disk after confirmation. And this now is changed. You can see it is synchronized. What else can you do? You can push your modifications into Siebel. For instance, I just added a new variable. You have 5 action buttons here. And if you use this push to Siebel, it will push it into the Siebel, and it overwrite in the repository in the given workspace. And there is another which pushes all scripts of the given business service. So you don't have to push each script individually. And you can use this. It will push all of them. Now with just 2. And you can create new scripts for a business service. It can be created from industry view with this new script, or in this right bar. If you click on a new script, then you will get a selection if you want to create a custom script or some predefined script for a given object. For instance, we have service pre-invoke method and things like that. So if I want to create a service invoke method, I just click on it and it is created. It just created on your machine. You have to push it into Siebel to have it in your repository. Or you can create some custom script. For instance, this method is, this name is validated to be a valid JavaScript function name. So it will not let you create with, for instance, spaces in it. And you can start typing. Siebel type definitions are included. So for instance, the application is already found just by typing T, and you can get almost all of the methods of the given Siebel methods. For instance, business object, business component, like this, and you will have an autocomplete feature. All right. And you can push this new method into Siebel, and it will be created there. I just push it. It's created there. And now it's in the repository, and you can test it in the Siebel from the Siebel. Some other features. You can even create new business services, not just methods for an already existing business service, even new business service. But to create a new business service, you need to know which project it will belong to. So first we have to give a source string for a project name. This will fetches the projects from the Siebel REST API. You can select one. I will search for this string. I have these projects. I select one. Give a name for the new business service. It's whatever you wish, and it will be created in Siebel. It's created and it has a pre-invoke method. This is only available to be for business services. If you want to create a business component, applet, application, web template, you should do it in Siebel tools or Siebel web tools, which is only available for this because they need many more parameters. And just let me think what I missed. Yes. So you can see the workspace list here. You can add workspaces by manually with this new workspace button. And you can write here a workspace name. It will be validated to be a valid workspace name, and it will be checked if it exists in Siebel. If it does not exist, then it will not be created. For instance, if I try some non-existent workspace, I will get an error that it does not exist. If I give an existing workspace, it will be created. So another workspace, which is made by another user, I can query with other user, but I'm not able to edit in workspaces created by other users. It's only just for looking. So you are not seeing the buttons for editing the scripts in the Siebel repository. Siebel wouldn't let it do it. And then another possibility to get workspaces, which I prefer, and it's easier in the edit connection, you have this get workspaces from REST checkbox. And if you check it, sorry, sometimes it's acting up. It will check if your Siebel and your extension is eligible to get the workspaces from the REST API. This can be done by the one possibility is that there is a base. So this is the address of the GitHub repository of the extension. You can look at it, or you can even give issues if you have found some bug in the extension, and then trying always to fix them. You can download this base workspace eob.sc file. It contains an integration objects which let you get workspace data through the Siebel REST API, because there is, as far as I know, there is no REST API for the workspaces. But since I think IP 23.5, there is you can create dynamic integration objects, which is another possibility to get this workspace data from the REST API. In the documentation, in the documentation of the extension, there are the steps to follow if you want to use this feature. It's better because in that case, the extension automatically gets all the development workspaces for you, which are created by the given user. So you don't have to manually add them. But if you want to add workspaces which are not editable or created by other users, like I did, you have to do it manually. And I think so if you are not searching, basically there is this library icon near the object name. It means that it is showing the downloaded stuff from the so that you have on disk. And if you are searching for some object, then it will change to this for a green plug. So you know it's showing online data. And yes, there are some other features. There are some search features. If you click for this little search icon, it will open up this Visual Studio Code search view, and will put your files put your folder to the given object. So it can be useful if you are searching for a specific stuff in your downloaded scripts. Just a minute. Yes, and there is another possibility to search. For instance, if in this bar you can see this other search icon, it will try to search for the selected word. For instance, my cursor is in this string, I will press it, and it will search in the given business service scripts for the word or the whole selection. And this last icon is a compare, which is similar to the compare in this on the tree view, but this compares only the downloaded file with the one in the same workspace. With this, you can compare it with, if you are using the Siebel REST API for workspaces, then you can compare it with all of the workspaces. Sorry, just some caching issue, and it's sometimes acting up. And you can see this, it will give you almost all of the workspaces which are in Siebel, and you can select to compare with the given object in the given workspace. Now this does not exist in that workspace, this script, so it's unable to compare. Yeah, maybe it's a new method, or it's a new method, so it won't exist, of course. Sorry, I'm not finding a workspace which this exists. It doesn't matter, it's the same comparison where you can just revert the changes. And most of it, I think that's all. Maybe I will show you can even edit web templates, HTMLs. I just search for a web template. You will see which match this applet. And it is downloaded, and you can similarly edit it here and push it or compare. And I think these are the features which are new. And there were many changes regarding performance and minor bug fixes. And this will be available, the Visual Studio Extension Marketplace, after this Siebel Friday.
Okay.
And just one more. And if you are using, you are on an environment which does not have access to internet, you can download this extension from the repository and install it with a command. So you can even use it places without internet connection, but it is written in the documentation. So I think that was all which I wanted to present. Thank you for your attention.
Yes.
And are there any questions?
Yeah. So thank you very much, László. Great stuff. Very impressive. So guys, find that react button. Show László. Give some hands up for László.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, there is one question in the chat from Nick.
Yes.
Can you version the workspace or checkpoint? I think.
No, there are no workspace actions available. So which maybe I don't know even if Siebel lets you to do this with the integration objects. I only made the integration object just to get the data.
Yes.
So maybe if there will be some time a real workspace REST API, then I will be able to do it from the extension.
I think we can add that to the previous list that
Yes.
John is hopefully copy pasting the ability to have a real REST API on all the workspace actions. That would be really great. Yeah, I put that in the chat for John to you can put it on a list. So future enhancement. Okay, any other questions, reactions to this great utility?
Now I just gotta get Visual Studio on my laptop.
Oh yeah, you get a new laptop first and then get Visual Studio.
Visual Studio Code, so not Visual Studio.
Yeah, Visual Studio Code, yeah. VS
It's a big difference.
Big difference.
That again?
Just VS Code, not Visual Studio, the big IDE. That's just a VS Code editor.
Oh.
Yeah. But both are from Microsoft, right? Okay, I might pick up on this. So thank you very much, László, again.
Thank you.
And I had the privilege, thanks to the good people at endoIT, to be able to preview that plugin and give my feedback. And I would like to let in the elephant in the room, which is of course AI, and show you how I've been using recently VS Code with that plugin. Just 1 second. There you should see my VS Code now. And you can see that I have the plugin installed. That's the new version that László was demonstrating. So I have a connection to my test environment or my environment, so I can see everything that László demonstrated. So I have one script open here right now, which I've downloaded, which is an example function of a business component. You can see business component account. So that's already downloaded. But you can also see in the middle of the screen here a panel, which is another Visual Studio Code extension that's a Claude code for VS Code. So I'm a, let's say, first day Claude user. That's my AI of choice. If you use a different AI, you have different tool names. Claude code is something that is not just an LLM that you can prompt. Of course, there's an LLM behind it, the famous Claude engines, the Claude models like Sonnet and Opus. But it's so much more than just a prompt. It's Claude Code is an agentic AI coding platform that integrates with your entire folders. It can see those files, it can edit those files, and it can be trained. And in that class that we are planning, the AI for Siebel professionals, this plays a very important role. So, for example, I've asked it to summarize the code in that file and show me how to improve it. So that was a prompt I did earlier. And it came back with a thorough code summary. So all of that, which I can save to a file if I want to, save as a report. And it tells me, for example, it tells me get the account business object. That's what the code does in the non-UI context. So how the hell does Claude know this is non-UI context? Because this is a very special piece of knowledge of eScript, right? You know, when you do the application get business object, you get a fresh instance of the business object. So I don't think that a public version of Claude or any other LLM would know this, because that's hidden in the documentation. So it has some insider knowledge on Siebel eScript, also next record autosaves. That's not even a documentation. So how the hell does it know all this? And the answer is that these agentic AI coding platforms like Claude Code or Codex, or most recently Google announced something called anti-gravity. So these environments use a lot of files in the background that they keep, so you don't have to explain it and tell it every time what's going on. And in Claude, a special type of files exist called skills. So for example, I have a Siebel eScript skill file here. I can briefly open that. That's a text file, a markdown file, which I have not authored. Claude authored it itself under my guidance. So basically, I took the training material, a good plug here, a training material from our Siebel scripting course, the PowerPoints and the example files, the example scripts. So imagine you take all the stuff you know about eScript you have in writing. I took the bookshelf guides and I had it extract all the information into an intermediate file base. And then I took that intermediate file base and had it extract those skills. So it created its own skills. It's like a bit Frankenstein's monster putting itself together. So not that scary though. And that's the impressive part of the modern LLMs. So, and now it has that knowledge, and what you can do with that skills folder is you can copy it. I could publish it on GitHub. I won't do it. It takes about a day or two to have good skills, but then you can take them, copy, paste them into any other project folder, and the LLM would just know that stuff. So now it's really a Siebel expert, a Siebel eScript expert, very specific knowledge that it gained. And of course, as I work with it, I identify issues and say, okay, dear Claude, you really got that wrong. It's not the way that works. Here's some learning. And I ask it to update its skill files. And of course it does that. And the next time it knows better. So that is the result of using LLMs for coding. It's not just prompting in the web chat interface, put in one prompt, copy paste the stuff, it doesn't work. You're frustrated. This is the present way of using these tools to the max. And it's the future way, I think. And we are seeing the worst version today, because in 1 year from now, this will be so much better. So it's already helping me a lot. It can write from scratch, can write eScript methods from scratch. You can write OpenUI. And so that for me has been a true game changer, using tools like that. So I would like to know if you already use AI in that extent. What tools are you using? Because we want to optimize the training course for you. So yeah, hit the chat and tell us, or use the mic.
I just use Copilot a lot.
GitHub Copilot.
This one would be nice because it could save all the things I keep telling it it's doing wrong.
Same concept, right? So it's the same. It keeps the
nice.
record of what it's learned. And
This would be great.
so also maybe a near future enhancement for Siebel is Oracle publishing skill files for the LLMs. So I know they're cooking something with maybe it's an MCP server, maybe not for web tools, but there's something cooking. Nick, there's also a question from you in the chat. Is there still a max size for eScript? Of course there is. It's just a column in a table, but it's a character large object. I don't know how much, 20 megabytes or more. So that 16K is limitation is in very old Siebel version, if you're still thinking about that.
That's what I was thinking, 16K.
Yeah, the famous 16K, and when we had Unicode, it was down to 8.
Yep. Okay.
And what is LLM? LLM is, well, a large language model, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, the thing, the word generators, the token eating word generators behind the scene. Yeah. And speaking of token eating, if you use tools like this all day long, you really need to to upgrade your plans, as I had to do, to the maximum plan, as you run out of tokens if you do it for a whole day, and you have to wait for next day. Then so they close you out. Okay, so there's still a bit of time left for your input into this, and I also have a little demo things that we are cooking. Give me just 1 second. Find it. So here, yeah, that's also a side project of mine. As I was learning to use Claude Code, I started basically a vibe coding project. Where vibe coding is a very controversial term. Vibe coding is really you just in plain language you tell the AI what you want to do, and you're supposed not to interfere with the code or even not understand the code. It's not your language. And this is a vibe coding project. I told Claude Code I want to create a standalone application that uses the Siebel REST API. So I told it everything about the Siebel REST API in terms of skills to fetch data from various locations. And you can see here, for example, a nice dashboard. I told it to use one of my favorites, Shoelace, for the front end, and Chart.js. So those tools keep asking you questions if you're not specific enough. So I can change the charts, for example, here. And not a single line of code was written by a human here. And that is not just, you know, a mock-up or a fake. That's a real working application with navigation, service requests. So this is not Siebel, of course. This is a standalone app. I experimented with sentiment. And the funny thing about that sentiment here, that's an AI, a model running inside the browser. Yes, that's a thing. You can do that. You can take these Hugging Face models, look it up. You can run them inside your browser. The browser is doing the sentiment analysis for the text here. So that's not fake. That's real sentiment analysis in real time in the browser. And of course, you can do your queries. Like here, I have a nice filter for M. I can show only active accounts, apply the filter. So that's all real-time Siebel REST API, by the way. I can view the data. I can edit. And again, this is put together with just prompts, just vibe coding. As you can imagine, that's not just one single prompt. That's a lot of prompting. and a lot of learning for Claude. But yeah, I'm quite happy that it is possible to do that. And I'm always looking for generic solutions. So what if you have a custom BC you want to show in that app? You can configure, basically all these lists are configured and the charts. So you can identify the fields, the business components, business objects, create new widgets, and they are stored in JSON format wherever you want them. So that's one project I used as a learning platform for myself. How far can I go with a large language model and an agentic coding platform and vibe coding. And the other project recently, sorry sorry for that. That's a very nerdy theme I put in here. That's the blacksheep warp, the hierarchical enterprise parameter explorer. So it uses the Siebel gateway, Cloud Gateway REST API to explore your enterprise and give you all the parameters. So you can, the goal is to have an application that allows you to load 2 enterprises and compare them and have, solve that merge problem that you have when you want to migrate one enterprise to a new platform, like from Windows to Linux. So you have to compare both enterprises and find the differences and then create some scripts or code to run. So that's an ongoing project, but also that I decided for myself, I want to vibe code this as much as possible. And this is a few hours in, and I think it's went down pretty well. It can fetch everything from a Siebel enterprise into a very big tree. So that's 350 megabytes of data if you have all the parameters loaded. So that's was very nice to learn and see what's possible with the Siebel REST API. Okay, stopping here. Anything from you guys? Any experience with AI, vibe coding?
Not me, just when I get out of Copilot.
Just Copilot for you. Yeah, of course. There's a lot of there's an incredible number of use cases which we try to get a complete picture in our upcoming training class. So if you have anything you want to be included in that class, let me know. You know where to find me, or put it right in the chat here. And speaking of training, got a few more slides. Speaking of training, Oracle, you know that Oracle University is now hosting the Siebel Hub training catalog, and as John mentioned, the URLs were jumping back and forth. So this URL should be valid now for you to find this training on Oracle University. Let me just click it and make sure it works. That link works. So that's the name of that subscription is called Development UI Administration and Business Siebel Learning. And that's a full subscription of the full training catalog listed here. So purchasable on Oracle University. So if your organization is not a friend of, swiping credit cards on siebelhub.com, we understand that. You want to go through Oracle, your primary vendor, then you can still get Siebel Hub training on oracle.com or through Oracle University. So if you have any trouble with that, let me know, and I will let Oracle know. And also a great event that happened in November, and I can really recommend. I think most of you have been there. Is the Siebel Unplugged event that was memorable, 3 hours with all the good people from Oracle demonstrating incredible stuff. Yeah, I hope this will be repeated soon. I think John has left, I see. Yeah, so I think there are plans for a next one. Oracle has started tapping into the Quest community to host Siebel events. So it was really just really great, still vibing from from that event. And of course, also one more new thing that you might have heard already, or you might even have done. So maybe put your reaction button to work, or have you passed one of these exams or both? So there's a Siebel CRM Foundations Associate exam, which is free, and there's very recently the Siebel CRM Professional exam has been published, and the professional exam is not free. So anybody
What's the charge for that, Alexander?
what was that, $250, is it? Around that?
Just take the test.
Basically you buy an exam, what's it called? An exam voucher, and that's valid for any Oracle exam. But you can use it for the Siebel exam. So
I was looking at the context for that thing. Oh my God, it's all over the place. I mean, there's stuff there I'm never going to touch.
it's not specific. It's a broad exam, and I've taken it.
Very broad.
Yeah, but don't fear. If you know Siebel, you will pass the exam. If you don't know Siebel, the exam will tell you that. So that's what a good exam is for. And I think Oracle did a great job in balancing the questions, hard questions, easy questions. I'm talking about the professional exam. So it's definitely a good test. Are you really a Siebel CRM professional? I think that's a good test.
So, Alexander, other question. So with those $250, you only can take this test, or you can take other Oracle?
No, it's just one exam. Is
okay.
Yeah,
expensive, huh? 250 for the test is expensive.
Yes, it is.
In the old times, they cost us $39.
That was a long time ago.
No, they were tests probably more difficult than the one.
I recall being a Siebel University instructor, that you had to take the 3-week core consultant course first for $10,000, and then you got the exam for $39.
Yeah,
I remember that one. 3 boot camp.
Yeah, the boot camp. Yeah, so
mine were free. I was a Siebel employee.
Yeah, I was an employee too, so I took it many times. So yeah, that's a thing too. So if you are really want to prove your expertise officially, there now is a new official certification. It's definitely, if you take it or not, the signal from Oracle is very clear. On an ending note here, the signal from Oracle is very clear. They mean it with Siebel CRM, because otherwise there wouldn't be a new certification exam out there if it would be a product that they're planning on sunsetting or whatever. So that's a very strong message they're sending.
Yeah, that's great. Great step in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. So Siebel is not going anywhere, but you have places to be and turkeys to eat, leftover from yesterday. So I say thank you very much for a great Siebel Friday again. Thank you to László for the great presentation. Thanks, John, who has left already. And see you next time.
László, thanks. That was really good.
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.